Hello, today we're going to talk about a 1951 Farmall Cub. A few issues I ran into when I was looking into this. I'm kind of new to these tractors. First of all, it had a charging issue, and I was sick of dealing with the generator, so I ended up, I don't know if you can see here, I ended up putting a GM SI alternator on it with a 6-volt voltage regulator. All the alternators are basically the same. The voltage regulator is what makes the difference. This tractor had a mower on it when I got it, and the mower still does work even though it does have a loader. Some people have commented on how that works. They do make a bypass block for this area, and in this case the previous owner did some creative plumbing and welded in some fittings. The main feed line comes over to this controller here, so if you want to run the loader you would run it in this position, and if you wanted to run the rock shaft you would pull that out. The other item I ran into was a non-stop problem with the throttle. The shaft that goes up to the front of the governor was slightly bent because the previous owner liked to use vice grips on it because it wasn't adjusted properly. I ended up changing the spring in there. Then there's a bumper spring in the end of here. I changed both of those. Ended up changing the throttle plate because the little notches were worn, and it ended up actually putting another couple washers on here. The problem ended up being, even after I did all of these, it still would pop out of full throttle. It would spring back, and it turned out that this area, the bottom of the steering post, the weld was cracked. It looked okay, but it moved just enough that it would pop it back out of full throttle. The other thing that a lot of people don't understand is it's not going to use the entire range of the throttle, and people try and force the rod into the spring, and it doesn't like to do that. The other thing, this has got aftermarket weights. The Cub weights have a smaller diameter around the hub, but the weights for an A or a B, or in this case aftermarket, will fit. And I did put a step on it before I had the loader on it, otherwise I wouldn't have done that. And most people aren't going to like this, but I did put an additional fuel shutoff there, so you don't have to, you can get everything from the operator station. The alternator, when you start this up, shows that it's not charging. It's a one-wire GM. It needs to see a signal, so you need to add a little throttle, and then it excites it and it will start charging. It eventually goes down to minimal charging when it doesn't need it anymore. right now the hydraulics work for the loader, but if I move the rock shaft, I've got nothing. Once you change that valve, now I've got, let's see here, now I've got rock shaft. So this tractor, I can run the mower and the loader on it at the same time. Lots of trial and error, get it where it is. Pretty happy with it. Well, that's about it. There it is.